Hey, you guys. Well, we've hit the 5 o'clock hour, and I want to respect everybody's time. And I know we've got a lot of good things ahead, so I want to go ahead and jump in and get started. So, welcome. You're all in the right place to our culinary medicine cooking class. If you're new to the team's environment, hopefully you're finding, I think everybody's been pretty good, just making sure that you're muting yourselves. That way we can minimize any background noise. We ask that folks turn your cameras off so we can have the focus on Chef Alyssa and the cooking that she's going to be doing. And the best way to interact with us is going to be through that chat function. So hopefully you can find the chat icon. Feel free to warm up your fingers, say hi. You could also, if you want to get fancy, there's a raising your hand function. If you click on that, it will raise your hand and will let us know that either you have a question or something that you want to add to the conversation. So with that, I just want to do a brief introduction to ourselves. So we got the awesome Chef Alyssa over there. So she's been a personal chef for over 25 years, lots of experience. She brings so many good flavors along with good nutrition. So we can have both of those things, not one at the expense of other. So we're really happy to have her knowledge and her passion for food here with us. Then we have Allison Welch. She's one of our wellness coaches. She's over on the Big Island. And then we've got myself. I'm also a wellness coach, and I'm over here on Maui. So again, we're excited to have you here today, and we really hope that we're going to just spark a little curiosity, a little interest in you to learn more about this whole food, plant-based eating style. Just want to talk a little bit about that eating style, because you might be asking yourself, well, what's so special about this? Why should I focus on this? Why is my doctor talking about this, etc.? Well, in addition to cutting your carbon footprint in about half, it's also the only diet shown to prevent and reverse chronic disease. I'm going to say that again, prevent and reverse chronic disease. Doesn't everybody want to do that? So reversing type 2 diabetes, heart disease, that's a really big deal and something we should all hopefully have an active interest in. So what do we mean when we say whole food plant-based? Well, this means that we're celebrating food in its most natural form. So you need to look and say, would my ancestors recognize this as food, right? As the way it was grown, minimal processing. This is going to include fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. It's also going to be actively and consciously minimizing processed foods, refined sugars, white flour, and any animal-derived foods. Now, while changing your eating style might seem a little daunting, it can be best summed up by these words here you have on the screen. So eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And these words were coined by Michael Pollan. He's an American author and journalist. He's written several books about food and health, and he's the one that coined that phrase. Now, for most of us, we might be thinking, yeah, I know I got to eat my vegetables. We've been hearing that our whole life. And yet, a lot of us aren't really eating them, are we? They've been seen as not being delicious, something we have to eat. So that can be a barrier to it. So we hope to shift this mindset and opening you up to a new way of experiencing healthy food and love the food that's going to love us back. I like that saying. Now, while we do hope that you get a lot out of class today, we just want to point you to an additional resource. I'm going to put that link in the chat, or Allison, if you have it, you can put it in. But it's a link to a video series that Stanford School of Medicine put together in 2016, and it's called Food and Health. And we strongly encourage you to check this out in between these classes that we offer. It's a series of 17 videos. They're short, you guys, 3 to 5 minutes. They give really practical skills and information on how and why we might consider switching over to this this type of an eating style. So, okay, you're gonna grab, I got it here too, so I can always copy it real quick here, and I'm
You're
gonna
so much
paste it in
faster. You
there.
do it. You
I
do it,
got
Heather.
it.
Thank you. I'm like,
There
wait,
you
wait,
guys
I don't
go.
have it up. I'm so in. I closed them.
No
Thanks.
problem. I
All
hope you
right.
guys will check that out on your own
Yep.
time. Also, just want to take a brief moment to highlight the handouts that were included in the class today, specifically this concept of the healthy plate. So we want to make sure, and this is something you can work towards even tonight at dinner, right? We want to make half the plate dedicated to vegetables. So half the plate with all that color, and then a fourth of the plate with protein and a fourth of it with a whole grain starch. The difference in this plate here, as you see, we refer to as protein, like that can be plant-based protein too, right? Beans, lentils, and tofu. These are the ingredients we're going to be focusing in on these classes because a lot of us might not have grown up knowing what to do with those foods. That's why we have Chef Alyssa helping to expand, right, our horizons a little bit. So main takeaway, make your healthy plate colorful. If you want to learn more about this healthy plate concept, we do have a separate 90-minute class that our dietitians teach, and that's available to you. You can call 432-2260, or you can even register and check that out online at kp.org. And again, the class is called Get Your Plate in Shape. Okay, so I think that's most of the background. Just as a reminder, you guys, we're going to go over the recipes here, real quick. Just want to remind you guys that you can adjust the recipes to kind of fit your own palate, right? If you don't like something, you can swap it with something else. Feel free to ask for substitutions in the chat, and we'll be sure to acknowledge those and bring them forward as much as possible. And just congratulate yourself for being here and enjoying watching and learning. The recipes, you guys, can be found in your registration email. So I hope you found all of that. So this is the first email that you got when you registered for the class. And you see there's like these blue links down below, and that would have the recipes for today's class. This is an old screenshot, so that's not correct, but you'll have the ones for today's class in that email. Okay, did I miss anything, Allison? We're all good?
No, I'm getting
Okay.
hungry. Let's have Chef tell us what we're making.
Great. Well, we're going to start off with bringing up each of the recipes that she's going to be making today. Again, our focus is on healthy snacks, and I'll turn it over to Chef. And then once she goes over these, we'll pull the PowerPoint down, and then her screen with the cooking demonstration will be highlighted.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So these two recipes today are very, very flexible, so that'll be fun. We can talk a little bit about all kinds of different variations you can have. So we're going to do a sweet, more of a sweet snack made with dates, and then we're going to have a savory one. And so we will talk it through. What's up on your screen right now is the snack balls. I've also named them Fill the Puka, Lift You Up, Pop them up and Run. I start out with the base that sticks everything together of dates, and then I like to add a little bit of protein powder. You can do oats or protein powder, almond flour, any kind of nut butter you want. Today we're going to be using sunflower butter, and then you could do vanilla extract, almond extract, a pinch of salt. And then we're going to use a food processor to blend all that together, just to process it, to make it, kind of combine and stick and be cohesive. And then we're going to use these little scooper balls to scoop them out and roll them. We'll roll them in, you roll it in whatever you like. Today we'll be doing sesame seeds or cacao powder, cocoa powder. But yeah, there's all kinds of to taste. You can do whatever you want or nothing at all. So that's the first one. And then,
very good. Well, I like the humor in there too. The fill the puka, lift you up, or pop them and run.
yeah.
Great snack. All right, I'm switching to the spinach tofu nuggets with tahini sauce.
Yes. Okay. So this is a variation of a recipe that I have made many times from it's an out of print, I think, Vegetarian Nights Cookbook. The author lived on Maui. Her name is Bonnie Mondeau. It's just a wonderful, again, you can use them as snacks or you can combine them, just have a bunch of them for dinner, which I've been doing lately because I've been making it a lot as practice. And this is using steamed greens, preferably, it can be anything you want, but we're going to be using spinach. And then firm tofu that is well dried, and we're going to crumble that in a bowl. And then we have water chestnuts, some onions that are chopped fine, and then we have all different kinds of seasonings, spices, and the binding the binding element is chickpea flour. So again, that's adding to a little bit more protein. So we'll talk about, you know, the chickpea flour, how to find it, and if you can't find it, what else can we use as a binding element? So then we are going to bake that off. Again, we're using the little scoops, or you can just use a spoon measure. And my screen keeps going out, so I've got to learn how not to make that happen. And then when the spinach balls are in the oven, we'll be making a tahini sauce that you can drizzle over the balls or dip them in when you're actually eating them. That makes it really delicious.
Yum. This looks
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to
All
take
right.
down the recipes, and if you guys need, I also put them in the chat. Thank you for that. Otherwise, I can bring them up at the end of class if you guys need to
And
see them
yeah,
better.
and
Yeah.
I'm going to spotlight for everyone, just so you know, you should now see her, the bowl in the center. I've spotlighted, so you should see a
Perfect.
nice big blue bowl. Mostly the biggest one with her hand. And then I could do Chef Alyssa, but it'll split the screen. So if everyone's okay with that, I'm going to hand it over to you to Chef Alyssa. And just to remind everyone to turn off their cameras if you have them on so we can focus on the cooking. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All
So
yours.
what I did was I just went and preheated the oven to get that going. I have a little convection oven in my kitchen. And what I did ahead of time was, well, I prepped everything for the class, but I went ahead and steamed some spinach. And I bought a box of spinach, which was a pound, and I just steamed up a good handful. This is probably more than we need, but I figured I could eat some for dinner too. So I went ahead and did it. And what I tend to do is after I steam it, I tend to put it in a fine mesh strainer in a bowl and just let it sit for a bit and drain. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, you know, as it sits, it drains, but there's a lot of residual liquid in spinach. And the one thing we don't need is we don't need these little spinach tofu nuggets to be, you know, more wet, because if they're too wet, they're not going to adhere together very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, after it's been sitting, I'm just going to squeeze out any more additional liquid that I can get, because spinach just does that. It just keeps giving you liquid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it. Chop it up, because then it'll mix well. So I chopped it one way, I'm turning it, I'm going to chop it across, and then one more time, I'm going to squeeze it, because even that can make, I'm going to put it back in the fine mesh strainer, and I'm going to get more liquid out. And then what I'm shooting for is for a cup. So I've got a 1 cup measure here. So now I guess I'm going to have 1 cup. Okay. So there you go. I had enough. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to put this in the bowl, just because, we'll see, just use, I guess I'll follow the instructions.
How much
So
spinach
now,
did you have to start off with to get that?
That was a good handful. That was, you know, when I made it earlier this week, I bought a 5-ounce box of spinach, and I steamed it all, and that came out to be about a cup. Now
Okay, I know it's going to reduce a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I bought a 16-ounce box of spinach, and I took out a good chunk of it. So I'd say at least 5 ounces, 5 to 10. You know, you're going to get a better deal buying more spinach, you know, those containers. And then I actually got the 4-pack of firm tofu. It's the house brand from Costco. I drain it. I put it like in a strainer, fine mesh strainer, let it drain for a while. And then I layer it in a little bit of paper towel and let it sit, and it keeps absorbing liquid. So I'm going to cut this, just break it in half and crumble it.
Can we add in as you're doing it, will collards or Tuscan kale work if you decide to
Yes,
use that?
definitely.
Yeah. And the
I would,
same, yeah, go ahead.
oh, I would just make sure that you julienne them pretty fine. Chop them and julienne so they won't be all sticking out of the little balls. You could, I'm sure, you could form these into patties, like the picture, right? John found some patties. So the concept is kind of like snack, being able to take little balls, the snack balls with you and eat them that way. But they definitely could be formed into patties, and then they could hold collard and kale because they've got a little bit more texture, right? Fiber to them. So I crumbled
frozen spinach too.
Yes, actually, the original recipe used frozen spinach. I personally just really like the flavor of fresh spinach versus frozen. But yeah, if you have it and that works, that's great. Just squeeze out the extra liquid. That's kind of the bottom line, and make sure it's chopped well. So I've got my tofu in a bowl, right? And then I've got some water chestnuts, canned water chestnuts that I have chopped fine. I have some onion, again, that I've chopped fine. And I have my chickpea flour, which is I'm going to sprinkle over. Now I bought my chickpea flour at, where did I get it? Oh, I got it at Whole Foods, or you can get it at any health market. I'm in, on Oahu, so I shop at Kukua, Down to Earth. Sometimes it's in bulk, Down to Earth, and Kukua, actually. I think it's both in bulk. So a chickpea flour is great because it's gluten-free. You can use it as a binder. It's use it as make omelets with it, vegetarian omelets. It's kind of interesting. It's fun to play with. Make like savory pancakes, which if you can't find chickpea flour, you could use something like mochiko flour. That's usually in our local markets, or you could use rice flour. You could use arrowroot. You could probably use cornstarch. It would, everything would change the texture a little bit, but half a cup of cornstarch would probably be a lot. And so I'm going to continue adding. We got the chickpea flour. If you have any questions, just let me know. I've got garlic powder, turmeric, and I've got chili flakes, and I really like that. I'm kind of in love with that togarashi, the chili flakes, the Japanese chili flakes, which I've used in other classes. Garlic powder. I tell you, garlic powder is so interesting. It absorbs moisture so quickly. It's always a challenge when you buy garlic powder, what to do with it. So
yeah, I always have to keep mine in the fridge.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I do,
Yeah.
and that seems to work. But I had this out for about an hour or two, just prepping, and it already clumped up. So I have here turmeric and dried ginger. You could also do chopped garlic, chopped fresh ginger. You can, if you like the little chunky bites, you can do that. I have a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. If you're watching salt, and just, again, you can cut back. But the tofu and the chickpeas, it lends well to a good amount of salt flavor. Let me add in the spinach. You could also add fresh herbs if you want. I had, like I was talking about earlier, I had gotten a bunch of fresh basil this week. So when I was practicing, I added some fresh basil in. Cilantro. This is definitely a recipe you can play with. Whoop.
And it really does make, it's amazing how much it can make with one block of tofu. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've really been enjoying these all week. Okay, so this is what you got. You got a nice cohesive mixture that keeps flying out of the bowl. All right, so I think I don't need to use these anymore, right? So I'm gonna take them off. Make sure I don't make a mistake here. I want to put them back on. And then what I like I was showing you, I have this scooper ball. So I was trying to figure out, if you don't have a scooper ball and what size. So that's why I said, form them in the size of a lychee. I'm like, what size is this? So, something like, small golf ball. I don't know, lychee. That's kind of where I'm. But you can see.
Looks good.
Yeah. So I just form them. And I bake them for about 30 minutes. They're not like cookies where they're gonna, melt or, like change their shape. So you can kind of scoot in 4. This is a half of it's called half of a baking sheet. And it fits perfect in my little smart oven. We'll get these scooped up very quickly. Get them in the oven, get going. We can answer some questions, and then we can go on to our.
I think it's really nice that they don't spread out too much because you can really get a lot on one sheet. So that's nice. Nice to know.
And if you don't want to bake them all for whatever you don't have, you've got a small little toaster oven or whatever the dynamic is, you can just save the mixture in the fridge, and bake half of it and then bake the rest.
Can you freeze them too?
I'm not sure. I know that you freeze the tofu patties, right?
Mm-hmm. I have done that.
Yeah. I don't, for some reason, I always get a little nervous freezing tofu, but you've had good luck. So
yeah, well, how do you defrost it, Heather? Give us your heads up because maybe that'll help since you do freeze them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put, if I think of it, I'll put it in, move it from the freezer to the fridge, the night before, and then I just warm it up in a microwave or in like a toaster oven or something like that. If I want it to crisp up a little bit, I'll put it more in a toaster oven or an air fryer.
and
that helps it.
My
No, I was just going to say, these are going to be packed with protein too. You got the tofu, you got the chickpea flour in there, you got a little bit of greens. It's great, tied over snack.
Yeah, really.
And it's nice to try new things. Chickpea powder was new to me. And I think now there's just, you can find these things more often. Who'd have thought we'd ever be able to find like lentil pasta and things like that in the past? And now it's almost everywhere. So nice to see that there's so many different types of flours.
Look at that. I've got like probably 2 more. I can't not fit in those last, whatever, 3. Gotta make the electricity, right? I gotta get them all in. So you can see, this is.
Yep. We do have a question for you, although Heather, you might have to answer. The other one, but is mochiko flour rice flour less healthy than chickpea flour? Is it less? That was her question.
It doesn't have protein in it.
Yeah, so that's the protein we're looking for.
Yeah, but it's a good binder. If you ever had mochi rice, right? You know that it's sticky. So it makes things nice and sticky. Okay, so I'm gonna pop those in the oven. You can all see, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Can you make chickpea flour out of dried chickpeas? That was a question.
Wow, good question. I wouldn't even attempt it. I guess you'd have to have a good processor, right?
Yeah. Margot, I think you might, I don't know about the question, how much protein powder would you use? We're talking about, I think, the protein in the chickpea flour is what we were talking about. That's why you use the chickpea flour. Did I get that right, Heather?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, because there's protein in the tofu and in chickpea flour, so you're kind of getting a lot of plant-based proteins in that little snack, but we're not actually adding a protein powder per se to it.
So now while I got that in the oven, we'll work on the tahini sauce.
And we had a question about the air fryer, and I'll let Chef speak to that, but I would assume you can use the air fryer. I use it as a replacement for oven all the time. Probably just have to play around with the timing. But what would you say about that? Have you ever tried them in the air fryer, Chef?
No, I don't have one yet. I was starting to mention that my convection option in my smart oven, convection oven, is starting to make funny noises. So I don't use it anymore. I'm like, oh, this might mean that I need to get a new one and replace it and get an air fryer. Hi, Della, air fryer. So that would be fun. It'd be a reason, right? Because I should be educated about air fryers. I am not educated about timing or any of that. So I need to defer it to you. Do you have any insight, Allison? Or I don't know, Heather, do you have one too?
Heather's our air fryer queen. There we go.
Yeah, I was just saying, just kind of watch the timing. Everybody's air fryer might be a little bit different, but I think mine defaults to like 375, so it's usually about 25 to 50 degrees less than what an oven is what it's going to be at, and it'll cook in about half the time. So how long these normally cook? For 30 minutes? So yeah, probably 10 to 15 minutes. I would check it and just test it and see how it works. But yeah, it's great if you don't want to heat up the whole house with the oven.
Right. I know, it's a great idea. I am intrigued though with the thought of, I have a recipe for like a tofu fuyang, where you make them into patties, and they've got like the shiitake mushrooms, and it's got this really nice kind of a Chinese brown sauce similar to the vegetarian nights. I don't know if you've tried that, Allison. That's a good sauce too in this cookbook. If you folks have ever tried this cookbook, it's got great recipes in it.
Maybe turn it upward, like so. There you go, and move it over more. There you go, right there. Perfect. Vegetarian nights. Yeah. Heather, you're the fast typist. I'll have you put that in.
But I was, and it's you got to buy used copies online.
Yeah, on Amazon, where I got my last one.
Very inexpensive, but this is, I think, my fourth one. It's in very good condition. I'm kind of worried that, it's so nice. I don't want to use it too much.
Bonnie Mando?
Yeah, Mandoe.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
Anyways, I was thinking it'd be fun to try these spinach tofu patties in a tofu fuyang kind of a thin, and bake it off that way. So that was an intriguing idea. So maybe that's my next practice.
Before you move on, just had a question. I'm guessing you could put different seasonings like zatar, zahatar. Sorry if I said that wrong, but you can in those tofu. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can do this, right? You can make it Italian. Or you could do it with harissa. You can do zatar, would be really nice. You could do sumac. You could, like I was saying, you could use the fresh ginger, fresh garlic. You could use green onion instead of onion. You can use, in the original recipe, they use celery. So you could do celery, you could do jicama instead of water chestnuts. Really, it's a lot of fun in the sense of, like what's in your fridge. I think the main things to think about is your binding elements, right? You want your tofu firm and fresh and well drained. You don't want to use anything like silken tofu. And well dried. Even though it's drained, I would, pat it with paper towels, or if you have some sort of a kitchen towel that you use for things like that, a tea towel. And then different kinds of chili flakes. Like if you're doing Italian, you could do pizza chili flakes, so chili pepper chili flakes. You could do sambal. So it was a very good question, and thank you for bringing it up. I kind of wanted to talk about that. Anything else?
I think that was it.
Yep, I think we're ready for our next recipe. We're doing great.
Well,
sauce.
Yeah. So
sorry.
Yeah, so I had the tahini sauce, and what I did, because again, there's all different kinds of brands of tahini, and tahini can be like real watery in the jar, or it can be really thick. And I tend to like to buy ones that are more liquidy. I would say watery, liquidy, and because they're easier to work with. And so the one that I've been buying lately more often is this organic tahini.
Gotta move it center. Move it more towards your sauces, your olive oil. There you go. A little bit more. It'll be in the center. There you go. It's close enough. There we go. Thank you.
All right. So this one is a Whole Foods. Actually, Times Supermarket has one. I think it might be the same brand, but just a different label. It's very similar. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But it's round. But the way I work with my tahinis is like today, ahead of time, I heated. So the recipe is tahini water, shoyu or tamari, and then lemon juice or ume vinegar. And what I did, because I find it's easier to mix the tahini if the water is warm. So I poured my, and whatever's left over, you can, I love jars, old jar, you know, I always take labels off of jars and reuse them. So this is like a jelly jar. I poured my hot water in my jelly jar, and then I poured my tahini in after, and then I let it sit. And then I'm just going to use a whisk and whisk it together. It's still kind of thick, so at least I know then I can add some more liquid. But then you can see it just blended up really well. I don't know if you can see that, but it did. It blended up really well. and so I have some tamari that I'm going to add in. And I juiced up a fresh Meyer lemon from my friend's farm that just, oh man, that was interesting. It got me in the eye, kind of like you were talking about your juicer, Heather.
Exactly.
Oh man, lemon juice in the eye. It was a rough start today.
Can you Meyer lemon versus regulars? Meyer's just a little sweeter, right? What do you feel is the difference between them?
Yeah, I think that the whole lemon's just a lot juicier.
Juicier. That's probably a better way of putting it.
Very thin. So it's not like, you know, when a recipe calls for lemon rind, it's hard to get rind, you know, like rind, grate how do you say that? Grate the skin to create a rind on it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's hard to grate.
Yeah, it's so juicy that it's hard. You kind of, in order to get the rind off of a lemon, you need it to be firmer, you know, like the regular one.
Yeah, and it's also super smooth. It doesn't have any texture to it, like, you know, those lemons that we buy in the store that are from the mainland. It's just like it almost looks like a lilikoi kind of a skin. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. This is the lemon, the water, the tahini, the tamari, and it's still a little too thick. So at this point, I'm going to add a little bit of water to get it so that it's, you know, and this is the point where it depends upon your brands that you're using. But I don't want it too thin. I want to drizzle it on my little snack balls. And so it's just kind of something you're going to have to judge while you're doing it. The other thing I really love, as much as I don't know which one I love more, the togarashi.
Maybe put it all above where the tahini bottle is. That will be center.
You want it over here?
Right, yeah, that's where your center. Perfect, okay. That's center, right?
I love ume vinegar. So you can get that in, I don't know if you can get it like in local markets, but usually in a health market, ume vinegar, Japanese, it's a Japanese vinegar. If you ever had ume plum growing up, that's what you're getting, this flavor. It's just so delicious. So instead of lemon, you can add ume vinegar. And there's actually a store here in Honolulu called the Rice Factory, and they have crunchy ume pickle that I've been adding to this and having it at night. So if you've ever come across something that says crunchy ume pickle, it's just delicious. So those are some options for you to be able to. I know that we have talked about what to do when you have tahini. This is another way that you can make a wonderful sauce to go over vegetables or rice. Just making this sauce, you can dilute it a little bit. You can even use it as a salad dressing. You can expand it. Sometimes I take this recipe, and if you ever have anything like capers in your fridge, a little bit of the capers juice, you can add a little hit of mustard, you can add a little hit of olive oil, a little hit of veganese, and just keep creating this amazing dressing, starting with the tahini sauce and water. And you can just keep building all these different, just a little hit of maple syrup, just to kind of balance the sweet, salty vinegar. So it's another way that you can use your tahini. Any questions?
I think we're with you.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to bring my food processor out and move on to the snack balls. Give me a minute.
Just while she's doing that, I'm going to try to do something to see if I added a spotlight, if it's going to, it might not, it's not going to. I was going to do it so we can have, I'm going to change it. Just a reminder to everyone, if you do have your camera on, if you could turn it off just so we could have the focus on the chef. We don't have much say in how the layout is. So, and then chef, I'm going to do a little producing when you have that plugged in. I'm going to have you move your food processor towards your lid a little bit, and then you will be perfect. There you go. Look at that. Nothing of not producing all the time. Thanks, you guys.
Okay.
Awesome producing.
Yum, just making me hungry.
Okay, so I think I might need another pair of gloves. All my fun little dishes. All right, so we're going to start out with dates. Sorry, I'm going to get another pair of gloves so that I'm almost out of my gloves. Okay. So I have in the recipe, and I didn't double check which ones you have, so please guide me. Does your recipe say that if the dates are hard to soak them? Is that
Yeah, I think that was
okay,
in there.
good.
Yeah, pour boiling water over dates and let
yeah.
sit for 5 minutes.
Oh, you're
So,
good, Heather.
I personally get that box of dates at Costco, and they're so soft. You can just literally pull them apart, pick out the date, and you don't need to pre-soak them. But I've seen, if you buy them in the market, like Safeway, or depending upon where you're at, I mean, sometimes they can be really hard and, tough, and depends upon the type of date. So that's why I put that caveat, if you need to, because it just makes it nice and soft, and then you can work from there. But today I didn't need to. I took out the pits, and then I use I use some shears, just some regular shears I buy them. These can be expensive, kitchen shears, but I tend to, like, every couple of years, I buy them for Target. I mean, these go for $3 at Target. So I buy, my kitchen shears every couple of years instead of spending $19 or whatever. So I just use these for cutting up my dates and whatever else is needed, cutting up my basil and, mint. So I'm going to put these. The 8 dates is equal to 1 cup. So I did measure because I thought, well, that's, I think maybe I should change the recipe and make that a little clearer. And then what I did was, you can use a half a cup of quick oats, right, as a binder too, or protein powder. And what I did today was I actually have a 1/4 cup of each. So I have a 1/4 cup of oats and a 1/4 cup of protein powder. So I really like protein powder in these snack balls, because I think it just really adds to the whole purpose of a snack, right? Just kind of keep you going, give you a little bit of extra nutrition.
Okay, we did have a question. I just want to put it in because I read it wrong. I was thinking you were asking calamari. And I'm saying, can you use calamansi was a question. Did I read that wrong? I just don't want to. Yeah.
We're going back to the tahini sauce.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Did you see that, Heather? Okay, did you answer? I just didn't want to.
Delicious.
Yeah, there we go. So I read it wrong. I thought you wrote calamari. And I'm like, well, perfect.
That would be a whole new recipe, but you know, great discoveries are made that
anyway,
way.
I just, no, calamansi,
I do
you can.
find that, calamansi, actually, depending upon your lemons, can have a lot of seeds. So I tend to juice them, and then I use like a fine mesh strainer to pour it through. So yeah, I would maybe juice it somewhere else and then strain it. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I do find that they have a lot of seeds, but they are so delicious. Calamansi. Good question. Good idea. Okay, so we are back at dates, oats with some protein powder, almond flour.
Yeah, we had a question about the protein powder. If you had a brand or something you liked.
I have lots of brands that I like. The Vega, like just the plain vanilla, or the Civ. There's one called, I think it's called Simple. That's just got a minimal amount of ingredients. And then I have been, right now, I've been using this Vega, which is this one. It's so funny, you said calamari, and it's someone who's cooking, somebody who's cooking. It smells just like fish or calamari, but I'm like, no.
It's one of those mind things. We're in a plant-based class, and so I just am laughing over here.
Like, is it the almond flour? No. Anyway, this is the one that I'm using right now. And
okay, go more center if you can, right over your, right kind of by, there you go. A little.
It's a Vega Hello Wellness.
Okay, over your food processor, it's half, because you're thinking, and then down, straight down. Right there. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. It's a Vega brand. But whatever, whatever you like, I would just think probably, really it could be whatever. I tend to go with more of a vanilla-y kind of flavor. This one's vanilla cappuccino because I like coffee. And then I have almond flour. And that got stuck in there too. And I have some almond extract. Actually, I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to process this a little with salt. And then I'm going to add in the extract. So I'm going to kind of process everything with the dates. Trying to do is just get it combined. Watching my fingers with the blades. Yeah, that wouldn't be good to add. And I've got a little bit, you can do vanilla or almond extract, especially today I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to use sun butter, which is sunflower seed butter. But if you were using almond butter, the almond extract is also a nice, just a little addition, an almondy flavor. Vanilla is also just a nice addition. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of the nut butter or seed butter at a time to bind it. So I'm going to drizzle this. So I'm going to drizzle what I'm thinking is about, 2 tablespoons. Oh, will that come out properly? Okay.
While you're doing that, I think we had a question. What's the answer to using protein powder? I'm assuming it's to get some extra protein in there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You don't have to, but being a vegetarian, I'm always kind of thinking about good ways to get a little additional.
Yeah, I think the question was if if instead of protein powder, could you substitute with peanut butter powder?
Oh yeah, that would be good. Definitely. Okay, so I'm gonna pulse this. What I'm looking for is for it to bind well. So I'm gonna scoop this out since that wasn't pouring too well. Getting there. So what we're looking for is so that it's going to stick together, yeah? We're almost there. I'm going to just a little more. You don't want it too wet, so you just kind of keep an eye out. You know what's really nice too is you could do like you could do tahini, right? You could do tahini and you could roll it in sesame seeds. Tahini actually comes in a black sesame seed, tahini, which is really yummy too. So I've got a smaller scoop for these. You can see I've just got them in a little ball.
You got to move it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. More. There we go.
I really got to invest in these scoopers that you have.
I
mean,
know.
make it nice and even.
Oh, I just love them. I have, I think 5 of them. I would probably use the ones that I used to spinach, but just because I haven't washed them, I'm going to use the smaller ones. Totally depends. This will take a little longer, but they definitely are good. Pop them in 2 bites.
So you have what, sesame seeds? Is that what that is? Sesame seeds?
Yes, sesame seeds, and I have cocoa powder. You could do chopped nuts, chop any kind of pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds combo. You could do crystal ginger chopped up. You could do shredded coconut. That's always real popular. Crystal, did I say? I think I said crystal ginger. But that had to be pretty finely chopped. Some cocoa powder. Yeah, just a dusting. But these are just wonderful. These are great to take on plane rides too. You know.
Well, that's a great tip. I were always thinking, what can I bring on the plane that I can snack
Right?
on? So that's a great tip.
Yeah, because these guys will hold you for, have like 3 with a nice cup of tea after, and then you just can hold you for a while. When you're transiting across the world.
Or across the island and you need a little something.
Oh yeah. Or like you're talking about that 3 o'clock time when
That's it.
Eat something.
Hiking, yep.
Yeah.
How would you consider, how many would you consider a serving?
Oh gosh, well, it depends upon the size, right?
Mm-hmm.
How hungry you are. I don't know if we have an exact serving. I could probably eat 3.
Yeah, they would fill you up. I think that's the thing. And what is it, Heather, you say about giving your brain 20 minutes to catch up? Because with me, when it tastes delicious, all of a sudden I want to eat it and eat it and eat it. So eat it and give yourself a moment. And if you eat another, and then you're like, I want some more, maybe give yourself 20 minutes or drink some water, and then you can decide. Because the thing with these, like, it's good energy. It gives you for when you're out, like you were saying, Mana, for hiking. But you also want to be careful if you're thinking about this for weight management. You want to always just be cautious because peanut butter, all of those things are delicious forms of protein and a good food. But we always want to be, if you're thinking about that. Fair enough to say, Heather?
Yeah, I think so. And then hopefully if as a snack, like you said, you're drinking it, staying hydrated at the same time, because sometimes we
Yeah.
confuse hunger with being thirsty.
Yep.
So maybe eating, like you said, 3 or something, drinking some water, and then waiting, like you said, Allison, about 20 minutes and kind of regaging. Probably best to put these in little serving containers or
Yeah.
Ziplocs, because there will be the ease of like, ooh, that's good. And then we kind of like mindlessly, if you're driving or doing something, dropping kids off at
Right.
practices, eating
Yeah.
more, and then kind of going, oh, those caught up with me, because once they're pretty
Mhm.
Yeah.
nutrient dense. Yeah, once they hit.
They are. They're great for a hike. What's nice about these is they don't need to be refrigerated. I mean, if you're at home, you can refrigerate them. But if you're traveling, or going on a hike, or out for the day, they're
Yep.
nice because you don't have to really think about that part.
Yep. Now, we did have a question, and you had brought this up before. She has the small scooper. It's hard to say how many tablespoons that scoop is, but I liked you kind of mentioned the size of what, like a
I said lychee for the
yeah.
tofu ones.
How
These
about
are.
these?
What are you?
What is it? Ping pong ball, a little
Oh
smaller.
no, these guys are smaller.
No, smaller than that. A tablespoon, maybe? Would you think that would be fair enough if they didn't have a scooper? One and a
Hold on.
half. And
I
then
will.
just to give you a 10-minute warning, chef, we're 10 minutes till give you a 10-minute warning.
Where's my table? Sorry.
Aw, that's good. Chef's gonna
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen today. Sorry. I
That's
can't.
okay.
I'd say a scoop is, a tablespoon at the most. This one's pretty
Okay.
small.
Got another great question. How long do these snack balls last? Recommended storage.
Oh, well, if you're refrigerating them, in your house, I'd say at least probably a month. I mean, there's nothing really in here that I think you're going to go through them faster than they're going to go bad. That would be mine. But I'd say a month. I actually went on a trip and I had some that I hadn't rolled into balls yet, and I ate them when I came back. So even more than a month. So there's really not anything that's gonna go bad in a short period of time. So I'm going to. What did you say? 10 minutes? Sorry, did I
Yes,
answer?
we have. We've got 8 minutes left till class is done. So I wanted to kind of give you a heads up.
Go get the
Beautiful.
spinach tofu patties. Okay, they're
That's
just
great.
finishing up in the oven. So let me go get them.
I'm telling you guys, don't you want to just reach through the screen and grab one of those? They look so, I know,
I
they're
do.
making, I
I'm
want to
gonna make
try it.
these. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope
I've
everyone's
made
feeling
similar
really
balls before,
motivated.
but
Yeah.
not this one. I'm gonna try this one.
Okay, let me get this out of the way without making a mess.
I bet her house is smelling really good about now too with those
Yep, the
spinach
Except
ones.
for that calamari next door.
Yeah, and the calamari.
Well, I love it. This is part of city living. We can hear the sirens in the background. You can smell the
Yeah.
food. It's like part of life in the city.
Urban living.
And I laughed, Justin, I'm with you when they were asking how long those would last. I'm all, well, in my house, as soon as she made them, I think they would be gone. But yes, I love that the month is a good one.
Okay, out it comes.
All right.
So what's nice about these is the turmeric turns them kind of golden yellow.
They look
Oh,
delicious.
those look fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, and you can just pick them up with your hands. It's hot.
Yeah, don't burn yourself.
See
Now
that
back
they're
more
you can,
towards your right there. That's perfect. Perfect.
yeah, you can they're all firm, stuck together, and then you can just drizzle the sauce over, dip them in the sauce. Like I said, I just have been eating these with rice and a nice salad and drizzling the sauce on and a little furikake on my rice, and I'm a happy camper. I even, if you have those little nori sheets, the seasoned nori sheets, you can just wrap them in a nori sheet, drizzle a little tahini on it. And,
Great idea.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you're making me hungry. Look at those. And that was just one thing block of tofu.
Yeah,
Love
it
it.
goes a long way.
Goes a long way.
So, yeah, I hope that you folks are inspired to try these dishes.
I'm going to see if I can put you both in the
Got a lot of
spotlight
very
here.
goals that
Oh.
you can use things in your house. You know, if you don't have exactly what's in the recipe, you can see that you can change out things to
Great.
make it work for you based on your cupboard.
Wow, Chef, you're
Absolutely.
nothing if not right on time. Fantastic. Look at that. Yeah, we're putting you to the task, but you make it doable, and we really appreciate that. So that's
I
great.
Yeah. And I'm just
I
going to
really
Heather,
pull up
yeah,
as we wrap
perfect.
up, and feel free, you guys, to
Mhm.
add in, any questions you have for Chef. Just going to round out our class today by sharing a few more resources. Hopefully you are inspired and you'll come back for class next month, because we will be here. We're here usually the fourth Monday of every month from 5 to 6 p.m. Always virtual. Next month, exciting topic: tofu stir fry and a tofu musubi. Right? We don't have to give up musubi, but we can make it a little bit healthier version of it. So call to reserve your spot if you haven't already, that 432-2260. If you've been inspired today and you want a little extra support and accountability with making these changes, I encourage you to check out our wellness coaching by phone. So you can either make an appointment by logging into kp.org, or you can again call that same phone number and say you want to make an appointment with a coach. It's all done over the telephone. You get a total of 6 free sessions, and we're just here to help provide some support along the way with setting goals. And then hope you'll check out some of our other classes that we offer as well. We have a flyer that we produce every month that has all of our different classes. I'm going to put a link in the chat so that you can access the most recent one. I know August is almost over, so we're heading into September. So yeah, lots of different offerings for different areas of your well-being that you might be interested in exploring more. And I think I made it through everything.
You
So if you have any
did,
questions on
Heather.
any of that,
Perfect.
let us know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will leave you here with some beautiful food, beautiful recipes. I really hope you guys will take this to the next level and implement it, right? Make it a goal for yourself to try this. Give yourself
Yep.
in the next week, because it's easy to, time goes by and we have good intentions. So
Yeah. Heather,
we hope you'll try it.
take
Yeah.
the PowerPoint down so we can end with
Yeah.
hers in the center. Let's look at those beautiful.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Look at that.
Oh, look at
Nice. There
that.
we
Looks so
go.
beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, great to bring to a
Aw,
Lovely.
party or something
Yep.
too.
Yep.
yeah, right. Both of them.
Food you
They
can
would
feel good about.
Yeah. All in the size of a ball here. I like it. That's our theme. Round. We're doing some
Yeah.
circular foods. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. It was great to have you. Thanks for uh, dealing with our like technical part and all of it. But Chef, really thank you. Heather, thank you. And we really hope you all have some good cooking and see you next month, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll stay on just
Thanks.
in case there's any questions.
Yep.
We got a few minutes.
Can I have one, Chef? Seriously, I just want to grab it right there. I feel like
That
you're handing it to
I was
me.
gonna say that has to be the next technology step, right? Where you can just reach through screens and
That's it. That's it.
right.
Nice.
scratch
That's
and sniff
great.
or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We're getting into the Star Trek mode in our mind there. How can we make it
Yeah.
through? But no, it's just inspiring us to do some good cooking. So thank you for making it doable and something we all can try.
Right.
And
It's
thank
not
you all for joining, you guys. You're welcome. All right. Any other questions? Well, you have Chef. You got 2 more minutes before she's going to go eat some delicious food.
snack
Is there
bar.
any way to get the previous recipes, previous session? You might, it depends on which one. I don't know if we're doing that or not, but you could, if there was a specific one you had in mind. I don't know how to answer that. We don't have John on the line.
There was somebody
Um,
mentioned that corn summer had some sort of salad that looked really good. The
oh
Oh,
corn
yeah,
one.
let
that
me
was
see if
last
I
Yeah.
can
month, right?
let me see
Corn
if I can
Yeah.
salad.
find it. Do you have it, Heather? Can you
Sorry.
put it up there? No, we went, yeah,
Let me
let's see.
see. Yeah,
Heather's so
I
much
can pull it up
faster.
and at least put it in.
in here, and then you can like
Yeah.
when she puts it in the chat, you can grab it.
Someone said it's
Oh
on the
yeah, the
YouTube,
past
Kai.
recordings. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I can do that. Kaiser
Yeah, but
YouTube channel.
let's see if we can get if you put it on the screen, Heather, I can I can
Okay.
cut and
Yep. I'm
make the picture
just
of it too.
getting to, that was July. The edamame. Oh, here I got it.
It
Okay.
was edamame, right?
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
That's so funny because if you just share it for a second, if you
Okay,
want, I
let
can
me-
make that. I can
That
copy
makes
it.
a lot, that one.
Can you see
Let me
it?
see. Okay, leave it right there for a second. And let's see if I can make, okay, hang on.
And then
I
she
can
can
get
put it
that.
in the chat.
Yeah, hang on. Of course, now my thing is spinning. Hang on 1 second. Here we go. I will put it in and then
We
you
are
can.
resourceful.
We are, if we can do it. We can do it. Hang on. Let's see if I paste it in there.
This is something
There
similar
you
to what I
go.
made for lunch this week. Yeah.
Okay, so if you click on that, if you click on the chat, it'll open it to the center and you might be able to copy that image and then print it if you want. And if not, if you just so you have it as edamame, if you like that, I'm going to put the phone number down. You can call tomorrow, and John is so good. I'm sure he wouldn't mind sending that
And
out.
emailing it to you.
Yeah, emailing it to you. Although I need
Thank
to
you
close
so
it.
much.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Appreciate
put
it.
the phone
Yeah.
number down again for you so you have it, and right there
I
underneath.
screenshot it.
Okay, good. We're so
Perfect.
technologically advanced. I'm learning more every day. But Chef, we so appreciate your time, and everyone else who's still on the line. Go and enjoy your evening. We encourage you. What did we call this? You did it, Chef. You motivated us on a Monday night. So thanks for our motivating Monday. I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys. Have a great night. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if we lost Allison for a minute. Still here, everybody.
If I can get this one up.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chef Alyssa, for all the thought you put into making these amazing recipes. We'll look forward to next month.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be
laughing.
fun.
I didn't mean to leave that
Yeah.
fast. I was just trying
Oh, okay. I
to
was
close
like, I
out of
think
the
we
thing.
lost
No,
her.
no, you lost me. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Ah,
Looking forward to next month for sure.
absolutely.
That was funny. My fingers got really fast and I pressed the wrong button. But yeah, really, Alyssa, that was great. Thanks.
Oh, good. Great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
delicious. I know now we have the big perfect picture of you right there.
Yeah.
So I know. And of course, then all the sirens ended now and it's nice and quiet.
Of course, right?
That's how that always works.
Parrot.
I love your parrot in the background. That's
It
always
says
great.
Chrome update, so I'm going to push that, and I don't know if that'll
Yeah,
separate.
go. Don't worry.
I'm
You
gonna
go.
move forward, so I'll update this tablet. No, what's this? iPad.
You
No,
don't have to. Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Bye, Lucia. Bye-bye.
No, how you
Okay,
can go.
bye-bye.
Thanks. We can all go. So
Okay,
now
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
sign
say
out.
bye-bye. Yep.
Oh, I
Go
have to
ahead.
use
Okay.
I'll stay out and then I'll close everything out too. Bye, Chef.
Bye.